Welcome everyone to the first session on Introduction to Competitive Programming, hosted by the Codechefiemcal chapter. I am Girish Garg and I shall be the host for this first session. So today we'll be talking about what is CP. Then we'll also be talking about why you should do CP, its benefits. Then we shall move on to the prerequisites, some of the prerequisites that you must know before starting your CP journey. Next, how to increase your rating, which is one of the most asked question in the suggestions. And then we will also do some live coding. Also, before beginning, I would like to say that if you have any doubts, you can unmute yourself and ask, or you can also write it in the chat box. So, are we good to go? Okay. So, what is competitive coding? Competitive coding is also known as sports programming. Basically, in simple terms, in competitive coding, you will be given a set of questions and you are expected to come up with an algorithm which is best suited to that particular problem and can solve that problem within the given constraints. You have to read the problem and analyze all the given constraints and the variables and come up with a solution. Also, after coming up with the solution, you must implement what you think. So say suppose I give you a question that you are given n, that is the length of the array, to be 5. Say suppose the length of the array is 5. Okay, and I ask you to come up with an array of length 5 such that the value at a particular index is not equal to the index itself. So here I have drawn an array. Say suppose the indices are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now what we need to do is that we need to fill this array with numbers. What numbers? You can fill this with either 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. And each number should appear only once. Okay, got it? Should I repeat myself? You are given an array and you're given the size of the array and you have to generate an array of that particular size wherein the value at a particular index is not equal to the index itself. Say suppose this particular bucket. Say suppose this particular bucket. This particular bucket is of the index 2, so I can store here either 1, 3, 4 or 5, but not 2. So let's say I filled here with 3. Take for example this bucket. Since this is 1 and 3 has already been taken, so I can either fill it with 2, 4 or 5. So I filled it with, say suppose 2. Now coming to 3, I can either fill it with 1, 2, 4, 5, but 2 and 3 have already been taken, so I can fill with, say suppose 5. And like this I can, say suppose, fill it with 1 and I can fill it with 4. So your task is to generate an array such that the value at a particular index is not equal to the index itself. So give it a thought, think for a minute and come up with a solution. You can either unmute yourself or say your approach, or you can either write, or you can just write it in the chat box. You have a minute to think about it and come up with a solution. You have to generate an array of length n. Just come up with an approach. You don't need to code the solution. Okay, let me tell you the answer. Some of you might have thought that why not just print the array in reverse order. Say suppose this is the array. Say suppose this was the array 1, 2, 3 and 4. You may have thought that why not just put the values in reverse order, so it can be 4, 3, 2 and 1. But there can be, yes, Roman, yes, you can do that. Yes, you can do that. That is a very possible solution. There is an even better solution which we are going to discuss right now. Now, some of you might have thought that why not just print the array in reverse order? That would be very simple. Just run a loop. But there is a particular test case where it will fail. Say suppose n is an odd number. N is an odd number. Say suppose n is equals to 3. So in that case, if you print the array in the reverse order, say suppose 3, 2, 1, you see this doesn't satisfy our condition because the middle element is equal to the index itself. Okay, so the best solution would be to just shift the array by one element. So for n equal to 5, I will say the answer will be 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1. You see, it is satisfying all our conditions. So this is what competitive coding is. In competitive coding, you will be given a problem and you are expected to come up with an algorithm which will solve that problem in the best possible time complexity or within the given constraints. So moving on, why do you need competitive coding? The main reason why you need competitive coding is that it helps improving skills. All the other reasons mentioned here are byproducts of this first reason. So competitive coding, say suppose there is a person A and a person B. The first is consistently solving competitive coding questions. And say suppose the first and there is a person B who doesn't solve much competitive coding questions. What will happen is that, say suppose I throw a problem to both of them. What will happen? This person will be accustomed to solving problems and he will know when and where to apply what algorithm in the given problem. But the person B who has not done much competitive coding will struggle because he only has the knowledge about the algorithms but doesn't know where to apply it. Okay, I hope you all have understood this particular point, and all the other points it will help you in your placements and internships. It will also help you in the online coding rounds, and it will help you get easy referrals. Say suppose if you approach a person and tell him that you have solved say suppose 500 questions or say 600 or 700 questions on this particular platform, they will be more than happy to refer to you to their company. I hope it's all okay till here. If you have any doubts, you can write it in the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself and ask. Moving on, these are some of the popular contests that are available, and you will be giving these contests throughout your journey. Okay. So you need to do something here. You need to go to this website pollev.com/girishgar195 and submit this poll. What programming language do you use? C, C++, Java, Python, or not yet started? You can go to this website. Mods, please spam the link in the chat box. What programming language do you use? C, C++, Java, Python, other, or not yet started? You may be asked to give your name, but you can skip it. Okay, we have started getting responses. Since most of you are from first years, I don't expect that all of you would have started programming, but I see a very good response here. C, C++, Java, Python. Okay. Oh, I think the poll is full and you're not. Okay. Looks like we have a winner here. C, C++ has 84% of the votes, Java 12%, Python 4%. Okay. Looks like you have already started your programming journey. Good. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. What are the prerequisites of competitive coding? The prerequisites of competitive coding is obviously number one, you should know a language. It can either be C++, C++, Java, or Python, or any other language that you prefer. Statistically speaking, 70% of the users use C++ language. Now you may ask why. The number one reason why most of the people, that is more than 70% of the people, prefer C++ is that, number one, it is very fast. It is very fast. And number two is because of the availability of its awesome standard template library. The standard template library of C++ has the just a second. Yes, sorry for the disturbance. The standard template library of C++ has an awesome collection of pre-built functions. For example, sort function we have there. We also have the binary search function. So suppose you have an array of random ordering. Suppose 4, 9, 6, 3, 1, 2, 4, 6. Okay, and you want to sort it. You are solving a problem during a contest, and you want to sort the array. At that point of time, you don't want to write a sorting algorithm by yourself. Okay, so the C++ standard template library has the sort function pre-built into its library, so you can directly use the sort function. Apart from that, it has also some awesome data structures like stack, queues, linked list, vectors, heaps, all already implemented into the library. So that is why most of the people prefer C++. You can either do C++, Java or Python, but most of the people prefer C++. Next, the second prerequisite is basic DSA. You must know the basics of whatever language that you have chosen. So, most you should know how to declare an array, how to declare basic variables int a, int b. You should know how to declare an array. Also, you should know how to use loops, for loops, while loops, etc. And the number three thing that you must know is if-else statements. So these three things are enough to get you started. What did I say? Number one is basic variables, how to declare basic variables, how to declare array. This is number one. Number two is working with loops, and number three is working with if-else statements. Do you have any doubts till now? Anyone having any doubts? You can unmute yourself and ask, or you can also write it in the chat box. Okay, no doubt. Okay, Rohan. So we shall continue with the presentation. These are some of the platforms where you can practice competitive coding: CodeChef, codeforces, AdCoder, Spoj, that is Sphere, Online Judge, HackerRank, HackerEarth, etc. Mainly CodeChef. If you open CodeChef, you will see that most of the people here are from the Indian diaspora, and codeforces is more of like global. Most of the people here, you will find most of the people here are from all around the globe. So CodeChef basically has 3 contests in a month. First is the long challenge that lasts for 10 days. In the long challenge, you will be given around, say, 9 to 10 questions, and you will be given 10 days to solve it. Next, we have the cook-off, which is for 2.5 hours. And at the end of the month, we have lunchtime, which is for 3 hours. Fun fact, lunchtime is at 7:30 today. So I would encourage all of you to participate in this lunchtime contest, which starts today from 7:30 p.m. You can just start. Don't worry about not being able to solve any questions or submitting wrong answers. But just start. We are here to get you started. Okay. Rohit, full screen is not used. Rohit, you can, if you go to the participants, you will see my name Girish Garg, and beside that, you can click on the 3 dots and pin my screen, pin my video. Rohit, have you followed what I said? Okay. Next, these are some resources where you can practice questions from. I will tell you about how to search by tags on CodeChef and codeforces. You can read these resources later. Next, the main question that you people have been asking in the form that we circulated is that how to increase your ratings. So the first pro tip of how to increase your rating is to participate in a lot of contests, and by lot I mean every contest. I have here the rating chart of a person who goes by the name Subhash23. If you look at his graph, you will notice that he has been consistently participating in contests right from April 2018 to October 2020. And the second thing that all of you must have noted is that initially his ratings were decreasing. But he didn't lose the spirit and continued giving the contests. And you can see the results here. After each contest, he was improving slowly but steadily. And ultimately, if you see at the end of the 2 years, he has reached purple, which is 1900 plus rating, which is a very good rating on codeforces. The next pro tip is upsolve after each contest and learn new concept from them. So what do I mean by upsolve? Upsolve means, say suppose you participated in a particular contest and during the contest you could only solve, say, around 2 questions or 1 question. So after the contest, I will make sure that I solve the third question also. How do I solve the third question? After the contest, the organizers upload the editorials of the questions. You can read the solutions from there, or you can also watch video editorials on YouTube. So some people also upload video editorials on YouTube. Any questions till now? If you have any questions, you can write it in the chat box. The next pro tip will be practice questions from the practice section. Every competitive coding platform has a practice section where you can go and solve the contests of previous questions. We will come to this at the end of the session. And the last point is consistency. So you see this graph here. The dark squares mean that at that particular day the person has submitted a lot of solutions, and light one means less number of solutions he had submitted. So if you look carefully, this person has been solving questions consistently throughout the years. Okay. So that is very important. You should solve questions every day. You should make it a point that competitive coding becomes like your morning cup of tea which you cannot miss. Okay, you shouldn't lose touch with competitive coding, and you should always solve questions. Shine, if you are late, the PPT will be uploaded on the on GitHub. You can see it from there, or the session is also being recorded. So the recorded link will be shared to you. You can watch it from there also. Chirantan, sir, I have been learning Java for the past 2 weeks and I know the basics. That's very good, Chirantan. You can directly go to the practice section of the various platforms which will be coming after this slide, and you can solve questions, start solving questions from there. You can also give the lunchtime contest which is at 7:30 today. So the final tips for you while you are appearing for a contest is that read the problem statement quickly. Of course, you want to read the problem statement quickly and understand it because you want to spend most of your time thinking about the algorithm and you don't want to lag behind in the rank. Have a pen and paper handy, obviously, because you cannot solve big questions, all the big questions in your head. Use code snippets. So you must have seen that some of the people during the contest submit solutions in under a minute. Now, how do they do that? How do they read the problem, think of the solution, and write the code, submit it, all this within a minute? This is because they have been writing their code snippets saved somewhere else, and during the contest they don't write the entire code, they just import it from there. Dry run the program before submitting, check for corner cases, and don't focus much on ratings. A good rating will motivate you to perform better in the contests, but a lower rating should also not demotivate you. The last point is peer programming. This is where CodeChef IM chapter comes in. We know that it is very natural for all the beginners to face problems while they are just starting their CP journey. Every one of us will tackle similar kinds of problems. CodeChef IM chapter intends to provide you with a community of like-minded people where you can ask your doubts and we all will be helping you. Peer programming helps you to improve, and not only improve, you can compare yourselves with other people and you know where you stand. You can find the PPT of this session in this link. Okay, so now let's code. I will take some questions here. Shoaib, you can use any language that you want. Languages of your preference, yes. Okay. So I would suggest that you start coding with me. So today we'll be solving this question from CodeChef, this very popular question, life, universe and everything. I will ask moderators to please send the link of this question in the chat box so that the people can follow. Thank you, Shubho. So life, universe and everything. This particular question is very popular on CodeChef and almost every beginner solves this. In fact, this was also the first question that I solved on CodeChef. So the question, do we have any questions? Sir, should I do DS algo before going into intense CP? Chirantan, as I said, the DS algo that you need is number 1, how to declare an array. Number 2, you should be comfortable working with loops, and number 3, if-else statements. That's it. And you can solve questions. You can start solving questions. So I will start with the question. Here is the problem statement. Your program is to use the brute force approach in order to find the answer to life, the universe, and everything. More precisely, rewrite small numbers from input to output. Basically, it is saying that we will be given some numbers as input and we need to give them as output. Say suppose the input was given as 1, so I gave the output as 1. Now continuing with the question, it says stop processing input after reading in the number 42. What does it mean? It means that we will keep on inputting the numbers and also outputting the numbers. We will input the numbers and we will print the numbers. Now, the moment we have 42 as an input, we will stop reading any inputs further. Stop processing the input after reading in the number 42. All numbers at input are integers of 1 or 2 digits. So see here, the first input was 1, so the output was given as 1. The second input was 2, so the output was given as 2. Then 88, 88. The moment it gave 42, I will stop inputting any inputs further and I will end my program then and there. So I hope everyone has understood the question, and I will start with the code. You can see here the submit button. You can go to the submit button. and start writing your code. I will be using C++ language, but you can use any language of your choice. So, how do we start a C++ program? We first give the header files, hash include iostream.h, using namespace std, and then we will start writing the main function directly. Is anybody having any problem still here? If you have any problem, you can just unmute yourself and ask. Okay. So, okay, sorry. Oh, yes. So, initially it says that we need to input a number. So, in order to input a number, we obviously first need to declare it. So, I will declare an integer int n. Okay. And then it says that I have to take it as input. I will take it as input. Okay. Cin n. I have declaration, and then I have taken it as input. Fine. Then it says that keep on taking input until I get 42. So I will say while input is not 42, keep on taking the input. So this is the idea. And now we have to just write it in the C++ syntax. I have used C++. You can choose any programming language. So I will say while n is not equal to 42, what will I do? I will first print the number. Okay, so I have printed the number. While the number is not equal to 42, what will I do? I will first print the number. So print the number, and then what do I need to do? I need to take input the next number. So I took input n. Fine. Do you think anything is left here? I don't think anything is left here to code, because we have taken care of all the conditions here. It says stop processing input after reading the number 42. So if the number is equal to 42, our program will come out of this loop and it will end here. It will return the main function from here. So let us try to submit the solution here. Do you have any questions in the code? Have all of you have been able to follow what code I have written? Okay. Saurav returns 0 in the main function. Okay. So see, I am using here C++ version 17. Now C++ version 17 has a special provision for the main function that even if I don't write the return statement here, it will successfully compile the program. It doesn't even matter if I write the return statement here. If I write, it will run successfully. Even if I don't write, it will run. Yes. Okay. So that is how we take the input. C in means that we are taking in the input. Int n means we have declared n to be an integer, and then we are saying that we are asking the user for an input C in n, and then C. Yes. And we will keep on taking the input until the input is not equal to 42. That is what is said in the question. And that is what we have exactly coded here. Competitive coding is as simple as that. This is of course a very simple problem. We will be coming across much harder problems during the contests. Okay. Yes. Okay, so what you are talking about is I++ is used in the for loop. Have you studied for loop yet? Okay. You see, programming is very intuitive. Okay, programming is very intuitive. This sentence I wrote here in English, and this sentence I wrote here, this code I wrote here in C++. Both of them are very similar. Once you start practicing questions, some basic questions, you will get the hang of the things. Jayesh Shore says, what is using namespace? Okay. So, see, I will give you an analogy here. Say suppose, Jayesh, I ask you the meaning of a particular word, say melancholy, and you don't know its meaning. What will you do? You will search in the dictionary, or you will obviously not search in dictionary, you will search in the Google. For the time being, I am saying that you will search it in the Google or in the library. So, if you have given access to a library, you can easily say to me what is the meaning of the word. Similarly here, the computer doesn't understand what is C in, what is C out. So what we did, we told the computer that, hey computer, you can use this particular library that is using namespace std. You can go to this particular library and you will find the meaning of all the words that I have used in my program. Okay? If you don't give this line, it will show error that because the computer doesn't even know what is C in C out, but this particular library holds the meaning of all the words that we have used. Okay, thank you, Jayesh. So we can try submitting the code here. Here you see the submit button is here. You can select the language from here, whatever language that you are using. I am using C++, so I will choose C++ and then I will click on submit. Okay, the question is enabled. Okay, the question server has, I think, crashed. Okay, sorry, I will. Okay, so I think all of you know that we have to register on CodeChef in order to submit a particular problem. Yes, I will log in. Yes, I have logged in. Okay. So that error was because I did not log in. So here is the code. I have selected the language and now I will submit it. Validation error. Okay, I think there's a problem with the CodeChef servers. No problem, we can submit the same solution on some other platform. Now this particular problem is very popular and you can find it on almost every programming platform. So I will try to submit it on codeforces. Till then, if you have any doubts, you can ask in the chat box or you can unmute yourself. Yes? Okay. So what happens is that while writing a code, you can write comments inside your code. This is what we call a comment. This will not be compiled by the program. Whenever the compiler comes across a line that starts with this double hash, it will skip that particular line. It will not even see what is written after that particular line. Okay, that is why you see. No, it's not necessary. You can just skip it. I have written here so that if, say, suppose in the future I am trying to read my code, it is very easy for me to understand what each line means. You can do it for your own purpose. Okay. Yes. Yes, of course, I will tell you about the codechef platform altogether right now. So, I think if you have submitted the problem, I think there's some server issue from my side, that is why it's not getting accepted. I will try once more. Okay, there's some problem. So, since you have already submitted the same code, I will not submit it again. Okay. So this is my codechef profile. Every codechef account is given a particular rating which is based on their previous performances in the various rated contests. You see, this is my graph. I participated in these many contests and I was given a particular rank in each of them, and my ratings have either increased or decreased accordingly. This right here is the recent activity where you can see what are the previous problems that you have submitted, the result and the language. And the main thing that I was talking about is practice and learn. Here you see there is a section called search problem by tags. We need to go there and say, suppose today I want to practice some problems on say maths. So once you start when you start a competitive coding journey, you will realize that the first two questions of most of the contests are math based. They are very easy and they are generally math based. So I have searched for the math based questions and I have got these many results. I can go to the first question and I can solve and I can start solving. Okay, since problem is not visible right now, we will try again later. There must be some problem with the codechef servers. Generally it doesn't happen. So see here, this is also a math based question. Here is the problem statement. As I said in the presentation, that some of the problems have very large problem statements, so you must keep a pen and paper handy with you while solving these questions. This is the problem statement. You can read it. This is the input format, constraints and output format. And you can go to the complete section where the information for all the contests are given. and you see future contests, lunchtime, November lunchtime. As I said, every month has 3 contests. So you can go here and participate it, register for the contest, make an account, register for the contest, and see contest starts in 1 hour 45 minutes. I would encourage all of you to participate in the contest. Okay, Chandan Paul says, what are constraints and how to account them in our program? Chandan, that is a very good question. See, sometimes you are given questions where, say suppose you want to find the, what do I say? You need to find the sum of a particular subset of a given array. Okay. We need to find the subset of a particular, you need to find the sum of a particular subset. You have been given an array and you need to find the sum of a particular subset. So I will explain it here. So suppose this is an array 1, 2, 9, 7, 3, and you need to find the sum of this particular subset. So what you can do is that for you, the most basic thing that will come to your mind is that why not just loop the array from this position to this position. Okay. Now, this algorithm is correct. Your idea is correct. But the problem is that this particular algorithm will take at most n time. What do I mean by n? N is the size of the array. Size of the array. Size of the array is how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is equal to length of the array is 5. So in the worst case possibility, you need to iterate through the entire array. Now it may happen that you are required to find the sums of multiple subsets. Say suppose in the next query, the program wants you to find the sum of this particular subset. Then in the next query, the program wants you to find the sum of this particular subset. In that case, the time complexity will become n into the number of queries. For each query, you are taking order of n time. Okay, for each query, you are looping through the array once and you are giving the answer. So this will be your time complexity. But this time complexity is not very efficient. Maybe the constraints of the problem want you to solve the question in a lesser time. So for that you need to come up with a better algorithm. Okay, Chirantan? I hope I have solved your doubt. Do you have any more doubts?